Hey, welcome back. Hey, one of the things I want to share real quick is on classic cars like this, you have what's called the fresh air grill. Now, what this is a grill up here right before the windshield wipers where fresh air can go in for like on a hot day or to feed the heater. But one of the things I always like to do is tape this area off so when you're machine polishing, you don't throw any splatter down here because you can't remove this panel to clean the splatter out. And one of the things I do when I go to a car show, just out of habit, is I look at all the cars to see if that compound splatter's in there to kind of give me an idea if some hack detailer did the buff work. But what I look at right now is I look down here, what about you, Todd? I don't see any splatter at all.
No, actually a real clean kind of factory finish.
That's right.
Direct spray pattern.
And we're not going to put any splatter down there. So what Todd's going to do is he's going to go ahead and tape this off, and then while he's doing that, I'll go up here and start the lesson. Thanks, Todd. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to show you guys how to use the Porter cable. So Trista, if you want to come on up here, let me get right by you, Hank. Okay, so this is a DA polisher. We have 3 of them here at Autogeek. We have the Meguiar's G110 V2, the Griot's Garage 6-inch random orbital polisher, and the Porter cable 7424 XP. They're all the same type of polisher, just different brands. So once you learn how to master this tool, you could theoretically use any of them. Now for this one here, you'll notice I've taken the handle off and I've bolted the head on, so that's so the head don't fly off. But here's why. Normally, if you've got a handle on one of these, someone that's new, and we would call you a newbie, someone that's new would have a tendency to push down on the handle, and that would cause them to buff crooked. So by taking the handle off, you put your hand right up here on the head of the unit, and then you're able to press down and put uniform pressure over the entire face of the pad. Therefore, you won't buff crooked. The other thing is sometimes on some body styles, you could actually be buffing along, and all of a sudden that plastic handle sticking out would be digging into the paint. Could put a scratch in there. So by taking the handle off, it enables you to put pressure right down over the top of the unit so you buff flat, and you have to worry about marring the paint with the handle. The other thing is if a lot of the polishers have what's called a hoop handle or a D handle, and that puts your hand up over the top of the polisher, and what that does is it makes it harder to control the polisher and it tires out your forearm muscles. So what I know from experience is when most people take the handle off their tools, they never look back, and they just get used to using it with that. So that's how I'm going to show you how to use this today. So what I want you to do is reach over there and grab me that advanced finishing polish. Yeah, the one next to it. There you go. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to take and do what we call priming the pad. And what I'm going to do is this is a clean, dry pad. And I'm just going to put some product on here. You can set that back down over there. And I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to take and spread this out over the face of the pad. Now this pad is brand new, it's clean and it's dry, and what priming your pad's going to do is it's going to go ahead and load up all the pores of the foam here with abrasives, and it's going to also lubricate the pad so you don't come down onto the paint with a dry pad spinning, possibly marring the paint. It's also going to maximize the performance of the pad because since it's lubricated, it's going to be able to rotate better. So just like that, just spread that product on there. And that pad is primed and ready to go. Now, this thing has a variable speed dial on it, and usually for removing swirls and scratches, you want to be on the 5 to 6. With the Porter cable, I'm going to bump this up to the 6. You can turn this down to a lower speed when you're first starting out to spread the product out. The other thing I want to show you is notice how I put a black mark on there, okay? That's so you can visually see if that pad is rotating as you're buffing, because the tool will actually remove defects best when the pad is rotating. So you want to make sure the pad is rotating, and to do that, mark your backing plate and you can visually see if it's rotating. So go ahead and hand me the product again. So now that it's primed, I want to put 3 drops of product on here. This is what I call your working product. This is actually the product that you're going to be moving over the paint and working the defects out with, okay? Okay, now so at this point, the next thing you want to do is normally put the cord over your shoulder, okay? And the reason you want to do this is so you don't sit there and drag it over the fender or the door of a car that you're buffing out. So that's just a good habit to have. Then another thing is don't turn this on till it's in contact with the paint, or you'll throw splatter everywhere. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make what's called a section pass. So buffing out a car is just a matter of looking at the car, dividing up each panel into smaller sections, and then buffing out section by section until you've buffed out an entire panel, and until you've buffed out an entire entire car. And normally with a DA polisher like this, I want to hand me a microfiber towel. There's one right down there on that second shelf there. Hold this for me a second. Okay, normally with a tool like this, you don't want to tackle too big of an area. You want to tackle an area about as big as a microfiber towel. You can go a little bit bigger, but you don't want to get crazy big. So this is about 16 inches square. That's how big I'd recommend to start out with. Okay, so now, here's the technique. I'm going to go ahead and turn the polisher down. That's the 4 setting. Its pad is in contact with the paint. I'm going to turn this on, spread the product out over the area I want to work, so now my product is spread out. Then I'm going to bump the speed up and start making overlapping passes in 2 different directions. And every time I go over this one section of paint one time, that's called one section pass. Normally, to remove the swirls out of a swirled out car, you're going to make 6 to 8 section passes for that one section. Wipe off, inspect. If they're gone, then you know that'll work for the rest of the car. Then just duplicate that. Are you ready? So I'll start this and I'm going to turn it over to you and let you try. Okay, so see how I've spread the product out, have a nice layer of diminishing abrasives there. Okay, now I'm going to bump my speed up. And then I'm going to just I'll make 3 section passes, and then I'm going to turn it over to you, and you do the next 3. Notice how I turn it off and I let that pad stop spinning before I lift the pad off the paint. That's to keep splatter from going everywhere. Now, one of the things I was doing is I was moving the polisher slowly over the paint. That's called your arm speed because it's how fast you're moving your arm. And it's a slow motion like this. Okay. What you don't want to do is this. Because that doesn't do anything. That just got your pad is just gliding on the surface. It doesn't give the abrasives time to actually bite in and take some of the paint off to remove the swirls. Okay, let's go ahead and let you have a try.
How much pressure should I put on it when I'm pushing down?
That's a good question. You actually want to give some firm pressure, 10 to 15 pounds. So when you're polishing, I'm going to start with my hand on yours to show you how hard to push down. Then I'll remove my hand so you can feel it for yourself.
Okay, and I can go?
Go ahead. Push down a little harder. There you go. Now change direction. Slow down. And you want to overlap by 50%. Let's get one more. Then change directions. It's all you. Go ahead and make 2 more section passes. Could I get one of you guys to grab me, yeah, just a clean microfiber towel there. Thank you. Okay, then go ahead and turn it off. Let the pad stop spinning. Perfect. How easy was that?
That was pretty easy.
Yeah, a lot better than doing this, huh? Okay, then, because this isn't a wax, just go ahead and get a soft terry or a microfiber towel. Wipe that product off. And at this point, you would inspect the paint, and if the swirls and scratches were gone, you're happy with the finish, you'd move on to the next section. And then after you finish this panel, just continue around, moving on panel by panel, doing section by section. Okay, so tell you what, let's go ahead and when you go to work on the car, why don't you grab one of the porter cables and work with that back there. Okay. Now here real quickly, let me show you something else. Reach right behind you, there's a terry cloth towel. You know, as you're working on a car, buffing it out, you're going to have 2 things building up on the face of your pad. You're going to have spent product and you're going to have removed paint, because when you're taking the swirls and scratches out, you're taking a little bit of the clear layer off and it's building up on the face of your pad. So periodically you want to clean your pad, and this is the system that I use that enables me to clean the pad quickly, and and then get back to work. It's called How to Clean Your Pad on the Fly. So you take a clean terry cloth towel, and the reason you want to use terry cloth is because the fibers are stout. Now we use microfiber, feel that, because it's soft, right? So it's gentle to the paint. But to get this caked up stuff off the face of the pad, you want something kind of stout. It's got a large nap, that's the loop of the fiber, that helps to peel everything off. So what you do is you don't change your speed setting, we're still on the 6, and I'm just going to take and place the pad here, and on the other side it looks like this. Okay, so my hand is going to be coming around here, grabbing that pad, I'm going to turn it on, I'm going to be shoving my hand into that pad, pulling that excess product off. That would look like this. Okay, then if there's any, go ahead and hold this, if there's any built up residue, you'll see that come off on the pad, okay, and now you're ready to put some fresh product back on there, tackle the next panel. That's how you clean your pad on the fly. I'm going to set that back over there.
And you do it between each panel?
You know, that's a good question, Stuart, and in a perfect world, if you're looking for show car results, you want to clean your pad often. Now, I might not do it after each section, but after every 2 sections. It just depends on how much gunk is building up on the face of the pad. If you're working on a really oxidized finish, you might have more dead paint building up quicker, so you'd want to clean your pad more often. If you're working on something like this where the paint's in pretty good shape, or just removing fine swirls, you might not have to clean it so often.
And when would you consider the pad to be spent? In other words, you've worked it, I did the hood, I've cleaned it multiple times. When do you retire that one, throw it in the bucket, and take out a fresh pad?
That's another good question. As you're working around the car, what will happen is more and more product will tend to start seeping into the pad, and you get what's called pad saturation. And the more product that gets into the pad, the wetter the pad gets, the less the pad is going to want to rotate. So at that point, when you see that performance of the pad rotating, kind of falling off, it's time to go ahead and set that pad aside, switch to another clean, dry pad. And that's why anytime you're buffing out a car, it's a good idea to have, well, on the forum we say more pads is better. So, let your budget determine how many pads you have. But obviously more pads is better. So feel comfortable with that?
I do.
Okay, so tell you what, why don't you step back and let's go ahead and, who wanted to learn how to use the cycle? Wasn't that you, Hank? Okay, so tell you what. I've got a cyclo polisher here. Now the cyclo was introduced to the market in 1951. It has dual counter oscillating buffing pads here, and this model here is actually the Pro Model 5. It's a variable speed. What that enables you to do is adjust the speed to the job you're doing, or put it on a low speed to spread your product out, and then after your product is spread out, bump that speed up. So come on over here. Now I've already taken the liberty to go ahead and prime these pads, but we want to go ahead and add some working product to it. And to do that, I'm just going to put a couple of small drops of product right on the face of the pad. And just like the DA polishers, like the Porter cable we were just using, you don't want to turn this on until those pads are in contact with the paint. Now I'm going to show you a quick lesson. I'm going to hand it over to you and let you try it. Cord over the shoulder just like that. And again, you don't want to turn the polisher on until it's in contact with the paint. And then the same way that we use the Porter cable, we want to make a series of section passes going front to back, side to side, overlapping our passes, and we want to put some firm downward pressure on the tool itself. So that would look like this. I have it on speed 3. I'm going to bump it up to 4 to spread my product out. Then I'm going to just take my thumb and just flip that speed up to the 6. Okay, so you can see I've spread my product out. Now I'm just going to turn that speed up. Now I'm pushing down here pretty hard. You can hear the motor bog down. Now I'm going to change direction. Overlap my pass by 50%. Then again, turn it off, let the pad stop spinning before you lift that polisher off. Now I just made 3 section passes. Why don't you make 3 or 4 more?
Now, let me look at something here.
Sure. Cord over shoulder.
Is this pad just softer than the other one?
This is actually the same pad we were using on the Porter cable.
Well, the reason I asked is while you're polishing, it seemed as though this one was
Collapsing?
collapsing more than that one.
Good eye. This is also a thicker pad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is inch and I think 1 1/4 inches, and that one over there is 7/8, so it's quite a bit thinner.
Yeah.
So there's actually less room for it to collapse. I tend to like to use these thicker pads when we're working on other people's cars because it gives us a little bit of edge
Right.
protection there.
And what about the difference in pads? I know they make an open and a closed cell pad.
Very good. You must be reading our forum.
Well, somebody's.
Okay, there are different types of pads. There's open cell, there's closed cell. These happen to be hybrid pads. They're closed cell. And a lot of people like them because they feel they get better performance out of them. The trade-off is they don't tend to last as long as an open cell because they have less tensile strength. They have less ability to give and take under pressure like that. But to tell you the truth, Hank, you can get great results with any kind of pad. Usually what's more important instead of the pad is your own personal technique and using good products to start with. I'd say that the pad is usually the least important, although it's important.
Yeah.
But good technique and quality products are probably a little bit more important than the pad decision. Okay, then change directions. That looks perfect. For heavy swirl remover, you might want to go just a little bit slower. But other than that, you got it nailed. That looks good. And then something I tend to do if I'm using this tool is because you've got these pads are oscillating. I'll just blip this real quick.
Right.
This center section, when you're going front to back, doesn't usually get as much attention as everywhere else. So I'll tend to take and turn it just a little bit and then run it back and forth.
Good idea.
Not side to side, but just the front to back.
Good idea.
That's just a little tip for using the cyclo polisher. What did you think of that? Pretty easy?
I like it better than the DA.
Yeah, lightweight, balanced, no vibrations too. Okay, who do I got next here? Stuart, you wanted to try the Flex 3401, didn't you? Okay, so all these tools are dual action, and that is they rotate, and they oscillate inside that rotation. And by doing this, you prevent putting swirls in the paint and you prevent burning the paint. Now, this is kind of like the Porter cable, except this is what's called a direct drive tool. Now, I've already taken the liberty to prime this pad, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this and show you that before, that on the Porter cable, that pad would just free spin. This one here, if I grab it, listen,
Right.
hear the gears? Okay, so this is direct drive. So this has a lot more power, and if you're a professional detailer, what this means is you're going to be able to do the job a lot faster because the pad's always going to be rotating as soon as you turn that button on. Okay, so let me wipe off that residue. Okay, I want to go ahead and hand me the... Now there's two ways you can use this tool. You can pick up your bead on the fly, or you can just go ahead and add the product right to the pad. I've got a video up on the forum that shows how to pick up your bead on the fly, but for right now I'll just add the finishing polish. I'll just show you how to just do it the way we just did it in the last two polishers. Okay, so just added some product right to the face of the pad. Again, cord over shoulder, okay, so you don't mar the paint. And the variable speed dial is right here, conveniently located. Here's the trigger lock, here's the speed dial, so you can use your thumb to actually just adjust that speed. And what I like to do is I like to start at a slow speed to spread my product out and then bring the speed up, and that way I don't sling product anywhere. And we're going to basically do the same thing. We're going to make section passes. With this tool you can tackle a little larger area because it's got more power, but you still don't want to get too crazy and go too big. I also want to point out I have a 5-inch pad on here. I'm using the Lake Country 4-inch adapter plate on here, and that enables me to put on these brand new 5-inch hybrid beveled pads, and this is actually a polishing pad.
And you don't have a mark on this because you know it's always spinning.
Always rotating. Good point. You don't have to mark the backing plate because it's forced rotation. So again, don't turn it on until it's in contact with the paint. I've locked it in place. I'm just going to take and spread my product out real quickly. Okay, now that I got it spread out, I'm going to bump this up to about the 5 setting. And then I just want to make slow overlapping passes.
Same amount of pressure.
Yep, there's the way of the tool. That's a little too much, but I'm putting down just about, I'd say 10 pounds, 15 pounds of pressure. Now I'm going to change directions. Come back to my first direction. Turn the tool off, let the pad stop spinning before I lift it off, and now I'll let you try. So go ahead and make 3 more section passes just like I did there.
Got enough pressure?
I'd say that's enough pressure. Try to hold that as flat as you can. Okay, go ahead and turn it off. And now I want to show you something, Stuart. This tool I call self-teaching. What you want to do when you're using this tool or any polisher is at all times try to hold that pad flat. Now with this tool here, because it's direct drive, that oscillating action is very noticeable if you ever hold this on edge. And here's what happens. If you hold this thing on edge, it's going to try to actually walk the tool in one direction or another, and you'll feel it, and that teaches you, hey, not holding the pad flat. So adjust your style till you don't feel it trying to walk on you. So I want you to go ahead and turn it. Now I'm going to take and purposely tilt it so you can feel it walking, and then I'll let you correct it. Go ahead and turn it on. Feel it walking?
Yeah.
And now you try.
So, yeah, that's walking it.
You can feel it.
That's flat.
So it tells you if you're using incorrect technique. Okay.
Am I going to hurt the surface?
Well, you're putting more pressure to one side of the pad. You're going to be possibly taking more paint off of one area. You could see what we call a DA haze there. Plus you might wear the pad out. So what you really want to do is try to hold it flat at all times. That's good technique. Whenever you're working on a car, you want to use good technique. Okay. Okay, so there we go. There's how to use 3 different types of tools. Basically, a lot of the techniques are the same. It's just the tools have a little bit different drive operation. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started. What I'd like to do is I'd like to get Todd and Jeff with the rotary buffers doing the surgical buffing. If you want to use one of the 3401s and you've been using a DA and you're comfortable with it, go ahead and grab one of the 3401s. There's a cyclo back there. I got a cyclo up here. Or grab one of the DA polishers, the Meguiar's, the Griots, or the Porter cable, and if you look back there, you'll notice I got 4-inch pads and 5.5-inch pads. So when we get a kind of a good mix going, because you can use those smaller 4-inch pads to get into tight areas. So this is the chance for everybody to get to work. Let's go.
We're using the orange pads, the gold plush, to remove the residue?
Yes, we're using the orange pads for wiping off any residue. So the orange microfiber towels. There you go. Now I'm going to get you an extension cord. So Trista, if I could get you to come up here and work on the hood. And I want to get you over here working on the hood too. And there you go. Let me get you an extension cord. I got one right down there. It walked off. Okay, I got another one here. I'll get right by it. Are you using this one?
Yep.
Okay. You know, different tools work best with different size pads, so yeah, that's a good question. Okay, tell you what, how about if I have you go to the other side of the hood, and we'll get you hooked up over here. Actually, let's go over here to the passenger side fender. Okay, hold that.
Got it.
Mike, when you spread product, you were showing it with the machine. Do you ever put it on there and then blot the surface? You know, like here.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Hang on one second, Stuart. Let me get her polishing, and then I'll answer that for you.
I think I just stole that one.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll trade it. You hold that. I'll plug it. Want to go? I think there's another one back there if you want to go grab it.
Really? You're doing this? You're doing small slumps.
Okay.
Splatter?
And the first, yeah, that's a little bit of splatter. We're going to take this pad off.
Wire than flex with the blue pads, is that the right?
Yeah, I was only showing the orange pads for demonstration purposes.
Oh, okay.
So you can grab any one of
So the
these
blue pad
polishers.
is what
It's a
you
cutting pad. That's
Okay.
that's a Hydrotech foam cutting pad. Yep.
Hey, question.
Sure.
How many section passes do you usually want to do per section?
Anywhere from 6 to 8.
6 to 8?
Yeah, so that would be this way one time. That's 2 section passes, 3, 4, 5, and that would be 6. Wipe off and inspect.
And you don't want to get too close to these edge corners, correct?
That's right. You want to come up to an edge, but you don't want to buff on an edge. Good
Yeah.
technique. Yeah.
You can burn out corners like
Well, the paint's thin. It's usually going to be thinnest on the high point or the edges. And plus, you never know who buffed on this before you. They may have buffed for too long on the edge, and then you go through this like that. So pay attention. Okay, Trista. Over there for demonstration purposes, we were using a polishing pad. But for this first step, we're going to use a cutting pad.
What is that mean?
It's a little bit more aggressive, so it'll pull out the swirls just a little bit faster.
Okay.
Now, I was using this pad earlier today when I tested the paint, so it's already broken in. So tell you what I want you to do is to go ahead and tell you what, can I get you to move your hands, Stuart? And Todd has come down here. Todd, you've got this area right here?
Yes, you did.
I haven't got the other side.
Okay, so we don't have to get too close to emblems to stay away from that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of show you the area I want you to polish, and I'll hand this over to you. Okay, so from here, follow this body line to here, come back up to about this raised body line here, and avoid that stripe. So there's the section I want you to polish right there.
Thank you.
Do you have a column where you can put the pad above the terry cloth?
Oh, a terry cloth towel?
So anything, this is getting...
I got nylon brushes back there. You want one of those? And you can switch to, I got a bunch of fresh ones out here too. Very good, Trista. Now notice how the pad stops spinning there? I'm going to bump you up to 6. There you go. Now you got some power. Perfect. She's overlapping her passes by 50%. Firm downward pressure. Her pad is rotating. And she's going in a 2 different direction pass system. And look, the cord is over her shoulder. Pink. Try to hold it really flat to the surface there. There you go. And Stuart, yes, I haven't forgot your question. When we turn the polisher off, I'll answer it. Hold on, let me show you a little technique for that. Whenever you're using a microfiber towel, take and fold it 4 ways, gives you 8 sides of wipe with. Put your hand down flat, and then just take little soft dental wipes. Don't bunch it up and then wipe. Take little swipes, and anything is easy to wipe off. There you go. Beautiful. Have you been counting how many section passes you're doing? Good girl.
How many are we doing? 6?
Yeah, let's try 6, then we'll wipe off and inspect. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and turn it off and let's inspect. Okay, now just like I was showing him, you don't need to let it polish dry. Turn your towel often.
Yep.
And you want to actually try to make it look easy, because if you can make it look easy, it's obviously is easy.
It's a lot easier than I thought it would be.
I resisted doing it, and then once I got it in my hand, it was like, oh my God, like I've been detailing in a cave.
Why don't you grab that swirl finder light and let's check out our results here. How does that look?
Looks good. I want to see like a little up now so I can compare it.
Yeah, come up here. And the swirls and scratches are really fine, so,
Yeah.
so it's hard to see, but that's what we're trying to do, is just improve this and take those scratches out. So this side has been polished. Now fill this, then fill this. You'll feel a difference in the gloss, the slick, the smoothness, yeah. And the clarity and the gloss on that has been maxed out. We're gonna polish it anyways in a second here. That'll take it to an even higher level.
Spot right here,
Like where,
Yeah.
with
Right
the
there.
wire.
Yeah, and don't rub on that with the edge of the
No,
microfiber.
no, I was just pointing it.
Okay. There, now it's gone.
no, it's still there.
The smudge is gone.
The smudge is gone.
What are you pointing at? That scratch?
Yes.
That's called a random isolated deeper scratches, and we won't be able to get those out unless we sand. We're not sanding on this car today. And you and me, we talked about that before this started. You asked me about your daily driver.
Right.
And I said, once you get that thing to where you like it, if it's a daily driver, you're gonna always have those random, isolated, deeper scratches. Don't be trying to get them out because it's a daily driver. This is a show car. We have about 2 hours to polish this thing out, so we're not gonna get all focused on the little tiny
No, I
defects.
understand.
We're doing the big picture. The big picture is, look how nice that finish looks. And it's gonna, we're also trying to perfect this to put the Gtechniq on, the Gtechniq EXO on here. And that's right, and they recommend a completely flawless finish before you put that product on.
But isn't that true with any of the last step process?
Well, that is true. It's more so true with theirs because that's permanent.
Oh, I see.
Well, it's semi-permanent, so it's gonna last a long time, so you wanna get that service perfect before you put it on. You ready to go again?
Yep, I can do this one.
Tell you what, why don't you clean your pad first?
Oh, I'm nervous with this.
Oh, it's not that hard.
Can I try the flex on this?
You bet. Let's get you an area that you can work on.
I was gonna zoom in around that emblem.
Okay, yeah, jump right up there,
And
Todd.
around this emblem.
Okay.
Hey, Josh, when we get started clean, we'll color in that Mustang.
So what? Go ahead and clean your pad. Hey, Yancy, in 1 second, she's gonna clean her pad. Then I'll let you come up here and work this
But don't
section.
you want an orange pad? Or a blue
A
pad?
blue pad on here, yeah. This was for demo purposes. There's a blue pad back there. If you want to go grab it, we'll switch it over. Good eye.
Do I need to hold this tight? Like I don't want anything to fly off and hit me.
No, I'm not gonna fly from it. Just to kind of grab it and squeeze it while it's running. Go ahead, turn it on. And then just kind of move your hand around. There you go. Let me show you again real quick, because it's really easy. You don't have to have your cord over your shoulder for that. So take it, kind of put your towel in the center of the pad. And what I'm doing back here is I'm kind of just rubbing my hand around, squeezing it like that. Now you try.
Oh, you make me so nervous. I feel like it's too much on my hand.
Show the camera. That's perfect, perfect. And now, let's take a look at the face of the pad and see how all the excess product is gone, so it's ready to go back to work.
So I can put more on it.
Put
and then
fresh
get
product
off
on,
my spot.
that's it exactly. So why don't you tackle that section right up here. See this body line right here? I want you to come back and do this section right here,
Right
okay?
there.
Yep.
So not to this body line.
Just come up to that body line, but don't buff on it. And then I'm gonna let Stuart come over here and do the 3401 over here.
Okay.
There you go.
So I kind of just put it on and outline my.
Yep. Spread the product out over the area you want to work, and then work the area. Beautiful. Now slow down and start making your overlapping passes. Stuart, let's let her finish this section, then you do the center section, kind of tie it all together. In the meantime, you can prime your pad. Perfect.
You're using the advanced flow.
Exactly. So Hink, one thing is a little slower. How are we doing back here, Will? One of the things I noticed is I can hear the polisher, and I bet you're not on the 6th setting. 5. Let's bump that up to the 6 for the swirl removal step, get a little more power out of it. Hey, real quick.
We'll do the 4-inch on that.
The 4-inch back here, perfect.
I left the 4-inch there and this part. I left for the 4-inch or...
The 4-inch should be good for there, and I think, Jeff, didn't you get in here and do a little surgical buffing? Not yet. So let him tackle the surgical in there. So just run the 4-inch as far as you can and let him get it with the rest. All right, just real quick, and you want to show me your technique.
Gotcha, right here.
Yeah, just go ahead and knock out this quarter panel here.
We already did that. Here, let me do it.
Okay, right there then.
Get some on there.
Just wait till you do that live on TV sometime. You get real good at like putting your bottle upside down in your, your apron, and then it's already down at the end of the bottle when you go to pour it out.
All right, let me start out on slow here.
Actually, for spreading your product out, put it on the 4.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The porter cable's a little slower.
There you go. Now, spread your product out. Do the whole area right down here, this body line. Okay. Then bump your speed up. Now make your section pass. There you go. And here's a tip. You just ran that over the edge there, so just come up to the edge. I'll show you. Come up to it, but don't go over it, okay? And the reason why is because a lot of times the paint will be thinner there and you don't want to burn through. Now this tool's really safe. Let me show you how safe this is. See that? It didn't hurt my hand. It's not going to hurt the paint. But it's a good, what we call a best practice to not buff on a high point. So always just sort of build that kind of best practice up in your technique. Perfect. Perfect. Slow down. Perfect. Now wipe the residue off. Very good. Well, we got it going on up here. See how he's got some product right here and he isn't buffing yet? This is a technique I call kissing the finish. And what that means is he puts some product on his pad and then he touched it down in 2 places. Then he started buffing with the rest of his product back there, and after he gets that section done, he'll come up here and grab that and work that in. And that's just a technique I call kissing the finish. It's kind of an advanced technique. When you get comfortable with the polisher and the pad, you can start moving up, kind of forming your own way to do these things. Good job, Steve. How's this coming out down here? Looks good. Looks real good. Okay, I think we're going to go up here and see Stuart use the Flux 3401. Stuart, what I'd like to have you do is come up here and stand right here, and I'm going to have you work a section from about here to there, okay? And what that's going to, that's going to tie. Yeah. How'd that come out? Pretty good?
I think it did. I wiped it down and
Looks good. It looks beautiful to me. Yeah.
I see why he's doing this. He just wants me to fluff his car.
Yeah, it's kind of like the old Tom Sawyer thing, whitewashing the fence.
Yep.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
You've noticed it. Look how much glossier the hood looks.
The clarity and the gloss. So now it's easier to see the flake. Now I want you to turn this down to a lower setting to spread your product out.
See, what I've done in the past is I would...
Okay, and that's and let me just share something while you're doing that. You've almost got it right, except for one thing. I was watching you do that, and you're pushing down. You know what you're doing? You're shoving all that product into the pad. The whole point of kissing the finish is to lightly touch it down, okay? So you don't push it up, because if you leave those drops on your pad, you put this down and turn it on, at that point, where's all that product going? Up into the pad. So if you spread it out a little bit, then you do this. We got no power. Plug into the pigtail. Let's plug in right here to hers. There you go. There you go. No. Well, that'll work too. Okay. To turn this on, now what you do is when you come up to that spot, tilt it, grab it, spread it out. Okay?
Oh, I see.
And a lot of times, you know, when you're doing that,
I think the other way, the first method that you demonstrated over there is probably easier.
let me show the camera. So you tilt this. Now, when I tilt this, I'm not lifting this all the way up, so it's always in contact, otherwise it would throw splatter. Tilt it, grab that product out. As soon as I get past it, go ahead and spread this out.
Right.
And then once you got it spread out, now just take your thumb and start making your slow overlapping passes. But I already know how to do it, so I want you to do it.
Thanks, Mike.
Is this the product you're using?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. One of the things we didn't do is when you grab this polisher off the bench I was using, I was demonstrating with the polishing pads, but I hooked up the cutting pads for actually doing this first step.
Oh, okay.
Now that's not a bad thing. All that means is you've been very non-aggressive, but it still looks like you're getting great results. So go ahead and just finish this out, and then we'll switch over to the polishing pads for the polishing step.
We probably could have used a little more aggression, because it still feels quite rough.
Well, tell you what, let me go ahead and grab them pads.
Okay.
We got time. Pull those pads off. Okay, now when you go to put these on, basically once you hold this one, all you want to do is you just really want to try to line it up and center it and then check it. That's pretty close. You try.
Mike Phillips?
Yes.
Do you have a Phillips? I was going to take off the license plate.
If I do, it'd be in that drawer.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it'd probably be on the toolbox all the way out in the other room.
I'll grab one.
Yeah, if you want to take a swirl finder light, it'd be easier to find it because they probably turn the lights off out there. So there's one right there. Yeah. I would have them in my toolbox in my truck too if you just want to go out there. Okay. Pardon me?
You know if they got this?
Let's ask. Hey everybody. Has anybody done the front sides of the fenders yet? Nope? Okay, go for it, Tommy. Tell you what, I'll give you a hand here, Hink.
No, that's all right.
And sometimes little, you know, I looked over and I saw you using the polishing pads. And just sometimes when you're doing projects like this, I get so busy, you're busy. And the good news is nothing gets hurt though, because everything we use here is so safe. You know, nothing's getting burnt, we're not swirling through the paint. Now watch this. Drop, drop, and drop. You're ready to go to town. Let me go ahead and wipe this off though. Okay, now try.
She wanted to try that one too.
I'm glad she did. To me, I always like to have young people and girls down here to show all the big, tough, strong guys out there how easy this job really is.
The girls go much slower than the guys. You know, the guys want to do this,
Yeah.
and the girls are much more precise with that.
Perfectionist. You know, and that's the observation I've made over the years. Guys tend to want to hurry it and get it done, and then what they do is they're hurting themselves, because if you move that polisher too fast, you aren't doing anything. You got to move it nice and slow. Now let's watch Hank here.
This feels like it's like really working compared to my quarter cable. I mean, like.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's the power of a direct drive tool, for sure. Just like a rotary. I mean, you got a lot of power. Now, this tool over here is actually both direct drive and free spinning. I forgot to show that, but I can later. What I mean is you actually got to grab the polisher pad and rotate it to get it to spin, but the other part of it will just free spin, so it has two actions.
But when you look at a car, when you evaluate paint, in your mind, are you also evaluating which tool would work best? Or do you just like, you have your own?
No, I do, because like some of the things Todd's doing down here and Jeff's doing over there, these are small areas that you got to get the swirls out, and you know what? To be honest, the most powerful and fastest tool is going to be a rotary buffer in almost all cases. But it takes a while to kind of get the experience to use one safely.
Yeah, I already done 3. Let me do that because I need my technique.
Okay.
Right? Just like this.
Yeah, you know, I'll just show you what I do. Here, let me hand that. Once I get it folded flat.
Do you care if it's the long nap or the...
Either one is good. A lot of times, if you notice for this, I'm using the long nap for this, but I'll take it, if you watch, I'm kind of bunching it between my fingers to hold it in place, and then I'm taking little swipes, okay? Little bites. Turn it over often, okay? Just like that. And don't ever struggle at it. As soon as you start to struggle at it, you start putting scratches back into the paint. And look how nice that looks.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like this?
Yeah, that's good. I usually don't ever have my finger or my thumb out there where it could touch the paint, but inside on the towel itself. I'm going to come over here and see how my friend Jeff's doing. How are we doing over here? Or Steve?
Very good.
One of the things that Steve is doing over here is the roof here has a curve that goes down. Now as he polishes it coming at him, he's got to take the body of that tool and actually kind of curve it to match the contour of the roof to keep that pad flat so the pad is always spinning. It's not so much a big deal going this way, although there's a curve here, but when he comes down, he's got to rotate that tool body to match the curve of the panel. And look how slow he's going. Now, when I first met you, you'd never polished out paint before, had you?
Never.
Now you're trying to get my job.
I'll never be that quick. Can you go too slow?
You could go too slow, but
Would that burn out the paint?
well, with these types, that's a good question. With these types of tools, going too slow just means you're going to take longer to get the job done. It's usually only with the rotary buffer. If you go too slow, you're going to generate a lot of heat really fast, and then you're going to either burn the paint or do what we call twist it. It'll kind of actually look like the paint just twisted right there on the surface. Yeah.
Now, Mike, is this one of those things you leave alone?
Yep.
One of those rids?
That's a random isolated deeper scratch. It's a rid. And you know what? To tell you the truth, Stuart, a guy that knows what he's doing could come down here and sand that out.
Right.
But here's one thing you got to be very careful of. If I come down here and sand out that one scratch, that one section I sanded and buff out is going to be smoother and better looking than all the paint around it.
So now we got it right.
You got to make a judgment call. You know, how important is it? Because if you look down here, it's got very low orange peel, but it does have some. So if we sand in just one area, now we're going to have 0 orange peel in one area. Now on some cars you might not see it, but on some cars, like a dark colored car, it's standing like a sore thumb. And a guy like me walk by and I can tell instantly. One of the things I do at a car show, if I see a car that's been sanded, I like to look up to the edges, and here's what you'll normally see. You'll see completely orange peel free finish, and as soon as you get to the edges, you see the orange peel coming up, and the reason why is because you can't really, you can sand up to an edge, but to try to come back and remove your sanding marks on the edge gets real tricky because now you're going to be buffing on that edge. So most pros will just sand what I call the thumbnail trick, because I always have my thumb with me. I sand about a thumbnail distance away from the edge, and then I can easily pull my sanding marks out without having to worry about burn that edge. Plus, a lot of times I'll tape the edge too. Now, a guy could sand up to the edge and come back and pull those sanding marks out by hand. And that's all well and good, but I call that perfectionist detailing, and it's time intensive. Now, if it's your car and your time, no big deal. If you're trying to do this for money, you got to make sure if your customer wants that kind of perfectionist detailing, he's willing to pay for it, because time is money. So, but good question. You know, that looks really good, Steve. Thank you. It's a pretty color, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Your paint is original.
A lot of documentation. And the car was certified.
How are we doing over here, Hank? It's looking good.
When I polished that car, I used one of these because everybody says, at first I was like extremely nervous, absolutely. But then, because this machine gives me, this machine puts you in control. So,
Okay, where are we at over here, Hank?
Oh, gonna redo this part.
This section, okay. Hey guys, has anybody got the sides of the two fenders now? Yes? Okay, so we're ready to move on to the polishing step once we get this section right here done. Okay, hey everybody, let's go ahead and wrap up this first step. Hank's going to finish the hood up here, and Hank, here's a tip. Let's put this cord over your shoulder,
Okay.
because they already polished out this fender and we want to mar that. Hey everybody, what I want you to do is, if you're done polishing, let's switch the tools over to the orange polishing pads. Any microfiber towels, let's get them into the microfiber towel bin so we don't reuse them. And let's get set up for the next step.
Can I grab mine?
Yes,
I'll take it back.
go ahead.
Use the pad.
There you go.
you want to try a rotary on a test panel?
Yeah, we could do
Is that
that.
okay, Mike?
Yeah, that's completely, let's show her how to use that. To do that,
Use it on here?
yeah, let's actually get to a bigger backing plate and a bigger pad to show her how to pick up her bead on the or to pick her bead using the 10 at 10 technique. Okay, I'm going to get in close because I'm mic'd, so they can hear what you're going to say and what you're going to say. And I'm going to use this, this is a backing plate that I've already put numbers on to kind of teach a technique here. So yeah, let's first wipe the residue off. What Tod, you're going to show the 10 at 10, right?
Sure.
Okay, so what Tod is going to do is he's going to show what's called the 10 at 10 technique. And when you're looking down on the back of your backing plate on a rotary buffer, this backing plate is turning clockwise, okay? And what he's going to do is he's going to put his pad over here. He's going to put a bead of product right here. Then he's going to lay his pad down flat, pick it up at 10 degrees, and run that bead in at the 10 o'clock. Because this is spinning clockwise, what that's going to do is it's going to pull that strip of product into the pad instead of slinging it out everywhere. This keeps you from throwing splatter everywhere, plus it makes you look like a real pro. And that's what it's all about, isn't it, Tod?
Absolutely. It's
Okay.
all how good you look.
But hey, one more thing though, you know what's cool about this tool you got in your hand right here?
Low speed.
Low speed, it makes picking up your bead even easier.
Excited? Okay. So what Mike is telling you is when we pick up the bead here, see the machine spins this way? So by picking up the bead and running over on an angle, it's going to cover the entire pad.
Instead of prepping the pad.
Yeah,
Oh, you don't have to prep a pad on a rotary.
no, you draw a bead
Yeah.
on the paint, you go right to work. Now I'm on camera, so I hope I don't screw up.
Cover yourself. Beautiful.
Now, I should have product over the face of that. Now with a rotary, the one thing to keep in mind, and I'm going to keep it on low speed so you can get a feel for it, is if you don't hold it flat, it's going to steer on you. It's driving. So if I tilt it, it's going to wobble and drive. And you're going to want to move your arm just a little bit faster than you do with the dual action polisher. Because the dual action polisher, the dual motion is just dissipating the heat. With this, if I hold it still, right here, it's going to start to put heat.
Put your hand down there. You can feel the warmth starting to creep up on it.
A little bit more speed. feel it? It's starting to get warm.
Yeah.
Now, if this was an aggressive pad and an aggressive polish, a compound that's really abrasive, the heat's going to go through the roof and you risk damaging the paint. So just for this, we're going to keep it on a slower speed. Good. We just work it back and forth.
And you still use the same,
But this is the rotary.
This is the rotary buffer. Trista wanted to try the rotary buffer, so we're going to let her try it out.
But with
same
all the
thing.
new DAs
Now with the
today,
DA, you're going slow and you're putting pressure.
you wouldn't,
With this,
would you recommend this for
little bit
a
faster, and
newbie,
I'm
or are
not
you going to
using
start
it.
out with the DA?
You know, if you've never machined buff, it's always going to be easier and safer to start out with something like a DA, even if it's the Flex, the Cyclo, Porter Cable, Griot's, Meguiar's. Once you get your comfort level up with a tool like that, then you can jump up to the rotary, and it'd be a lot easier because you've already got some experience by machine buffing.
you're going to take the speed and reduce it all the way down to 1. It's going to be 600 RPM, and just make a couple passes over it.
So you start off faster and then work your way to go slower.
Absolutely.
So you're not putting any pressure on it at all, just the weight of the machine.
Just the way of the machine. And if you're perfectly balanced, you don't really need a second hand. You should use one. Because again, once you angle this, it's going to want to drive all over the paint. I guess you could use, I use pressure personally,
Well,
but that's
it depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to take out standing marks, you're going to have to put some pressure. But he's just showing her how to use this. And so he's just using a polishing pad and a finishing polish.
Yeah.
You might want to back up a little bit. I might spray you.
No, I have absolute confidence in
I
you.
know.
Well, I'm going to go stand behind Mike.
Do you mind if I help?
Please.
Okay. How do you hold the polish?
Like this?
Okay.
Well, to start this off.
10 degrees is actually a lot closer to the panel. You don't want to be up too high.
Right about there.
Okay, and I just.
Turn it on, get it spinning,
It's spinning, and I'll come over it.
then lay it down flat.
Let's look at it. Let's see how good you did. You did perfect.
Beautiful. Okay, now, let's see you polish this panel out.
Okay.
Go ahead and squeeze it.
And lock your trigger, and you don't have to hold the trigger in. There you go.
Oh, it pulls me so much.
You can feel it tighten you.
Yeah.
And honestly, you get very, very, very used to that to the point where I know I don't feel it, Mike. I'm assuming you don't feel it.
Got to hold the pad flat. Just tweak your style just a little bit.
Now you got a flexible backing plate on it, so it's absorbing some of that motion. But right now what you're doing is you're a little bit high on the tail. Okay, now you're flat. If you lift, you feel it start to want to pull. So hold it flat.
That walking motion you said.
It's the walking motion, yep. Okay,
Better? All right, I'll give you a little more speed.
wow, this looks good. Okay, just while no polisher spinning, is everybody switched over? We're working this way then? Perfect. I'll get the team up here and we'll get working on the front clip then. Yeah. We're going to use the tangerine polishing pads back there.
I actually tend to go with a gauge. It is easier to go faster? Absolutely. Because it's slower speed, it's more spongy. Gravity, as you spin it faster, it's just the force, but I'm going with that harder.
Whoops. Okay, Hank, now that we've done the swirl removal step, we're going to switch back to the pad you were using before and do the polishing step.
Okay.
So what I want to do is get this tool all the way out of here, and then let's just go right to this one. And if you get going on this side, I'll jump on the other side and get going on the hood too so we can wrap this up. Okay, Brian, would you like to try this out up here? Sure. Okay, have you ever used one of these before?
I think I did use this just a little bit last time we were here.
Okay, so tell you what, this is a brand new, this is a hybrid polishing pad. And it's brand new, so let's go ahead and prime this, okay? Let's get some abrasives throughout all the pores of the pad there to start with.
And what does it mean that it's a hybrid pad?
This is actually a brand new pad that just came on the market, and some of the things about it the manufacturer hasn't told us. It's kind of secret. But the other cool things about it is it offers kind of the best of both worlds of a open cell and a closed cell.
Okay.
Plus it's got a beveled edge, and the backing is actually 4 inches in diameter to specifically fit a 4-inch backing plate like we have here. And what's cool about that is a lot of times on newer cars, larger pads don't fit the panels too well. So it's nice to be able to drop down to a smaller size pad. And on this hood of this Mustang, it's not a big deal, but that's just an option you have, is to go from a big pad to a small pad with the Flex 341 by changing the backing plate.
Okay, we're doing that.
Yeah, I want you to go from here to about there, okay? Looking good, Tommy. One second. What's up?
Now the fender, do you count that the same, or the quarter panel, you count that the same as the edge of the paint? Would you?
Not this lip here. No, just that curve. Now I just come down there. I bump your speed up though. Now that you got your product spread out, there you go. And keep that pad on there. Then look at you just come down here and kind of edge that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Somebody had a point, they said, why does Hink keep polishing?
Yeah, go ahead. What's the question?
He's polishing the same area.
Here's why. The question is because he took the polisher that I was doing lessons with over here and started working on the hood without changing to the cutting pad.
Okay.
So we had to redo it. If you could add that to the thread, that'd be great.
Well, I mentioned that we're doing the second step, but then I thought about it, and he did have a point that he's in the same area.
And again, it's because sometimes when I get busy, I can't monitor every single person's pad and tool combination. And again, I had that tool set up back here with the right pads. He took the one we were doing lessons with and used the right chemical, but we should have switched over to a cutting pad. So now we're redoing it with the right pad and the right polish.
It looks really good.
Yeah, it looks great. What do you think of that, Brian?
Good. I like it.
Do you feel it trying to walk on you at all? It looks like you're tilting the tail of the tool down just a little. So maybe try to get it balanced so you feel like it's no longer pulling you around.
It was always easy on a test panel.
Yeah, you know one of the things we want to do now though is we want to go ahead and finish the polishing up on the car, and we can save this for another time so we can get that done so we can get to the next step.
What can I do?
What you can do is, tell you what, how about if I turn you loose with that tool and a polishing pad, and you're going to just basically repeat the same thing you did before. And something I want to show you is when you go to put these on, you just want to take and line them up as close as you can.
Okay.
Without the
Wow,
rotary,
pretty
it
good.
has to be perfect. With this, you just want to get it close. Okay.
I'm not plugged in anymore.
We'll get you plugged in here, and let's get some product on there.
And I'm just doing
That same hood area,
Oh,
yeah.
and this is a polishing pad.
Polishing
What were we
pad.
using earlier.
That was a cutting pad,
Cutting pad.
so a lot more aggressive.
Okay.
Okay, and okay, go to town. Do not turn it on until it's in contact with the paint.
Oh, I was just gonna what speed I was on.
Perfect. You know, you made it look so easy, like you've been doing this all your life.
I'm a fast learner. But you guys are pretty good at teaching us.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. How we doing, Jeff? You know, right here? Okay. I'll get out of your way. Here, I'll hold this.
Quarters, I guess.
Yeah, fold it into fours.
Like, is that like old product?
That's
or
residue. That's just residue. Need to wipe that off.
Is that from what I just did?
Yeah. And see, as your residue starts to dry like that, it gets a little harder to wipe off. But you still want to take it off real gently.
Yeah.
And sometimes, always remember this, like dissolves like, okay? So get down there and kind of loosen it up. You could also hit it again with the polisher, kind of re-agitate it. And then as soon as you get done re-agitating it, don't dilly-dally around, get right down there and wipe it off.
Is that a sign of like something wrong with technique or pressure, or is it just...
No, it's just the polish is drying. That's it. So go ahead and now wipe the whole thing off then.
The rotary is unbelievable. I mean,
We've got a rotary class that'll be coming up.
really?
Well, it's going to be a car that I can have down here that's swirled out that I feel comfortable letting newbies take a rotary to. This one here wasn't really one I wanted to let people new to the rotary practice on, especially when the DA polishes are doing more than enough to get the finish where we want it to be.
We put the sport behind it.
Have you tried the pre-option?
I don't think so.
That's the one Steve's using up here.
You should try that one as well.
And just to help out here, that's pronounced griots.
Rios?
Griots. Most people, they spell it out phonetically, griots, because that's how it looks like it would be said, but it's griots. The T is silent, griots.
Okay.
Now, one thing when you're doing the polishing step, you don't have to actually work the paint as much because the first step took all the defects out.
Okay, so what would I do differently?
You can go a little bit faster and you make less passes. You keep your pressure pretty much the same, but you see how you're going just a little bit faster now? Change direction. And then for your last couple passes, bring your pressure up just a little bit and polish out. I'd say that section's perfect.
And this
Go
is
right
just
ahead.
maximizing the gloss.
We're just, you know, what you want to do is you want to make sure that anytime you're using a cutting pad and an aggressive product, even though it looks good to your eyes, there could be some DA haze under there you don't know. What this does is it ensures there's no haze, and it ensures you maximize both the smoothness, the gloss, and the clarity. Because on a clear coat, you want to be able to see past the clear to that red flake underneath, or that gold flake underneath. Here, and bring the speed up on that. So usually for the polishing, yeah, you know, perfect, you're on 4. I heard you on about the 2 or 3 and he brought it up. He's doing great.
You're doing good. He was showing us.
Hank, how are we doing over here?
Oh, it's coming.
You know, what do you think of that cyclone now that you've buffed out half this hood twice with it? 2 different pads. You like it?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I like the horse pad better.
Yeah? Well, for the first step, you bet.
It had left this actually a little rough using the polish pad.
Yeah. I'd say it looks pretty good now, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah. Okay. I think we are just about done.
Now, Mike,
Yeah.
here, there's just ever so little bit of grit here. What is it?
Let me feel.
Right in here. Is that residue from the polish?
That feels so smooth. What you could have, though, is because he's buffing, is like a little droplet landing on there, and that's what you feel.
Okay.
So, but to me that felt pretty good, especially, I mean,
With the bag.
with the baggie test, that feels good. Okay, hey, let's make sure we get out of Jeff's way there. It's looking good, Tommy. How's this door panel coming out?
Coming out good.
Looks good. I can see Ivan's reflection really clear there. How we doing, Will?
Pretty good, I think.
No, it looks, you got it going, man. Nice and slow, even pressure, good clip on the pad.
I really see that, but it's awesome. But I want to learn. I want to come to the rotary class.
Okay, hey everybody. I think we just about got this thing polished out, so is there any place that hasn't received any attention on the polishing step? Anybody? So the fenders are done, the roof is done? Hey guys, has both sides of the roof been done?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Both sides? Okay. This front fender? Well, get on it, man.
I got it.
You know, and here's a little tip. A lot of times what I would do if I was working on this car by myself is I would knock out the horizontal surfaces first, okay, and then knock out the vertical panels. In fact, I could take the roof, the trunk lid, and the hood all the way up to the waxing or your LSP step, because a lot of times when you're going to buff out a hood, you can't help but lean against the fender. So if you've polished all the swirls out of here and out of the hood or with your compound or your swirl mover, then you come back with your final polish, you could theoretically be putting some scratches back into the side of the fender. So it just depends on the body style you're working on, but a lot of times if you're going to have to lean, knock out the horizontal panels first, then do the vertical panels. So when you get ready to do this, you've got your product on there. It's basically the same thing. You just, what I always tell people, if you don't got a hydraulic lift to bring the car up to you, then you need to bring yourself down to the car, because you always want to be looking across from the panel that you're working on. So go ahead and tackle it. Good. Hey everyone, when you're done with the tool, we're done with the step, let's get all the tools back on that table, get the pads in the laundry bin, and pull the extension cords in. There you go. You done with this, Todd?
No, I'm about to do so.
Okay. Okay.
Eight sides to the down.
Having fun, Brian?
Yeah.
Well, I'd say your girlfriend's a natural. That's a good thing. Now you can have her polish out your, all the dirty pads, but now you can have her do all the hard work, right?
Yeah.
Keep your car looking good. Okay, so let's get these extension cords wound up here. The next step is we gotta chemically strip the paint. So we're gonna open the garage door for that. A little bit of fresh air in here.
Lacquer thinner.
We're gonna use the Wurth product just made for this.
Lacquer thinner smell to it.
Yeah, kind of has an odor to it. It's not too bad.
So what is it stripping it of?
All the polishing oils. That's it.
Put on?
Yeah, well, you need the polishing oil so you don't grind the paint. Can you trace that down and make sure I get the right one? I don't want to stop anybody from buffing. Perfect. Okay, we'll just set these up over here. Polishers all go on the back table. Yeah, I think we're all done with them. Two points. Okay, if all the machine polishing is done, we're ready to move on to the next step.
I have a quick question. Should
Yeah.
I put this one back up here because this is where I got it from, or should I put it over
Oh,
there?
right here is good, yeah. Let me show you how to wind that up real quick. Usually what I do is take and wrap it once or twice around the head of the unit, then come back around the body.
Oh, and then it holds it all together.
Well, if you just wrap around the body, it'll fall off.
Yeah.
Okay, then tuck it in like that. If you can get 2 wraps in there. Now it's ready to put it in your toolbox or set it aside.
Or where would you like me to go now?
Okay, what we want to do is just everybody give me a hand here. Let's clean up a little bit. What we're going to do next is we're going to chemically strip the finish here.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
there's one problem with all this.
What's that?
You made it so nice and smooth. Now there's a scratch right down there.
Yeah. Well, what happens, hey, Hink's got a good point. What happens when you machine polish a finish to a show car finish like we've got here is now any of the deeper defects, like there's a real small here, and there's one right here. We call these RIDs, random, isolated, deeper scratches. They're random because there's usually no pattern to them. They're put in by an accident somehow. They're deeper because obviously they didn't buff out. They're isolated because they're sporadically put throughout the finish. And of course they're scratches, so we call them RIDs, random, isolated, deeper scratches. And then once you move all the millions and millions of light, fine scratches around them, now they stand out like a sore thumb. And it's important sometimes, like if I have a detailing class and I'm teaching people this, to point that out, because if you don't explain that, they might think that they put that in because they didn't see it before. Now,
Either that or they try to take it out.
well, two things there. They didn't see it before, so they might think they put it in, and that's not what happened. What they did is they revealed it,
Yep.
okay? And the other thing is you can take them out, but that's like in a really advanced procedure, and you really got to want to do it. Now, a car like this would be worthy of doing it, but not really a daily driver.
Yep.
But we have compressed time here, so what we do is I call the big picture. I mean, we've got 98% of the swirls and scratches out here. This thing is ready to seal up.
Yep.
Okay, so, okay. Okay, so the next step that we're going to do here is we're going to chemically strip the paint. Now to do this, I need here you go. I need everybody to come over here and give me a hand with this. And I'd also like to ask somebody to open up that garage door about 2 feet. Okay, we want a little bit of airflow here. We're going to use the Wurth, it's called Clean-Solve. Now this is a product that's going to remove all the polishing oils left over by the 2 polishing steps we just did. And that's because the Gtechniq EXO, it needs a completely clean wax, silicone, grease-free finish in order to bond to that paint. There's a bunch of different products on the market. This is one that we carry here at Autogeek. This is the Wurth Clean-Solve, so we're going to use this. And the way we're going to do this is I want anybody that's helping me to go ahead and glove up. So I've got some nitrile gloves over here. And I want to block that door open over there so we got some air travel coming through here. Maybe Nick, you could get that. Someone hand me a couple gloves. Okay, hey, thanks, Steve. And the key thing about this is one of my friends has a really good saying. He says, if the chemical's on you, it's in you. So you want to protect yourself, and this is a chemical that's going to strip off that polishing oil, but we don't want it to get on our skin. Now, the way you want to do this is you want to be careful. Is again, we're going to take our microfiber cloths, our towels here, and I want you guys to make sure these are all folded to the very fluffy side here, okay, because I want all these fibers to be able to get into the little microscopic imperfections of the paint as you're wiping this to pull any of those residues out. Now, you don't take this product and spray it on the paint. Okay, that would be bad technique, plus you get overspray in all these different places you don't want to get it. So the way you use this is you hold your towel to the side of the car, spray some onto the paint, and then we just want to come down here and at this point you want to be very, very gentle. Now, we've worked this finish up till it's flawless. Did you guys agree? How about someone backing me up here? How's this paint look? It looks good. So we don't want to put scratches back in from our wiping process. The other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to wipe like a madman, running your hands super fast. This is a nice slow process, and the purpose of that is you want to allow any of the dissolved and loosened polishing oils that are on the paint to transfer onto the towel. So you want a slow movement, not a high speed movement. And again, keep your towel folded and put your hand in the center. Don't be pushing down on the edging here. That could put a scratch back in. So just a nice, gentle wipe of all the painted surfaces. You ready to go, Todd?
Absolutely.
So here you go. And so just grab a towel, and again, please don't spray it at the car or anybody's eyes. Spray it away from the car, just like that, and then start wiping. So go ahead. And while we're doing this, I want someone to help me. There's a little bit of the tape residue, so this will work perfect to get that tape residue off.
No, you can come behind me and wipe off the streaks. I'm just kidding. No, actually, that would help. Like, do you want to have somebody?
Yeah, and if you don't have a can, you can grab, here you go. Yeah, you can grab one of the extra purple towels and just make sure we get all that residue off. Once we've loosened it, we definitely want to get it off.
Start with the top surfaces and then do the sides, right?
Yep, exactly. So let's get this roof knocked out. Ah, I love the smell of solvents in the air.
It's got a powerful smell to it.
Like the smell of napalm in the morning.
Little Robert Duvall.
Yeah, little Robert Duvall there. I don't know, you know, when I used to race drag boats, and my favorite thing was firing the boat up in the parking lot and smelling all that fresh gas burning through the headers, you know. Plus the sound. Oh yeah.
How did that go, Mike?
That was a big camshaft in that engine. Hey, just a quick question. Is anybody...
I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah. You know, that's from, that's called the big block Chevy stuff. Has anybody here ever done this step before? Okay, so this, for everybody here, this is like a brand new step. Now, for a lot of what we call LSPs, that means your last step product. This could be a carnauba wax, a synthetic paint sealant, or in this case, a hybrid coating. And those are the three basic categories of what we call protection products, or LSPs, the last step product that you're going to put on the paint before you make that final wipe and then stand back and say it is finished and admire the results. But for this case, we're using a coating. It's a hybrid coating, and the manufacturer recommends to chemically strip the paint so this coating can actually bond to the paint. And that's why you're going to maximize the performance of the product itself. Now, a lot of products, especially your traditional car waxes, if you look at the directions for application, they don't recommend chemically stripping the paint. So what I always recommend on the forum and in any of our detailing classes is to follow the manufacturer's directions. If they say strip, strip the finish. If they don't, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so just as long as everybody feels they've got every square inch of this, get into the louvers, get into the B pillar, the A pillar, the fender lips, because we're going to put this coating on. That'll be the next step.
Mike, do you always use this as your last step when you run LSP, regardless of the LSP?
The Wurth Salt Prep? No. This is the first time I've used that. on this, in this particular situation. I do have to say, I think it's working really good though. Doesn't it have a nice gliding action? There's a lot of products for chemically stripping out there, but the problem with the chemical stripper is a lot of times it doesn't offer any lubricity, okay? So you don't want something that's all grabby because you could induce marring as you're wiping. So the key is to find something that glides on but evaporates 100%. So you want 100% VOC, volatile organic compounds. That's what that stands for. So you want 100% of the evaporation plus, of course, you're wiping it off too. And then, of course, we're going to wash these. And I always wash anything that we use like this. I wash it twice and rinse it twice before it goes back out into the shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, Steve, I appreciate that thoroughness you do, and you get right in there to all the little areas. Okay.
This Wurth Pretzel does a great job of removing caked on wax residue as well. And the emblems?
Yeah, and you know what? That's good eye, Todd, because you and I think when we were here earlier, we both saw some of that. On the forum world, we call that Tagwa. That means the other guy's wax. And so a lot of times Tagwa, dumb acronym, but it's when someone brings you a car to detail, not only do you have to remove all the residues that you get onto the car, but you need to get the other guy's wax off because the owner can't distinguish who put it there and he'll blame you for the other stuff that was on there.
There was a lot of caked on wax.
And a lot of times, just to kind of point out, and I talked to Hink. Come over here, Hink. Remember I talked to you about removing these emblems? And what I do as a professional detailer is I ask the owner if they could remove any of the emblems or scripts or chrome letters like we have up here where it says F-O-R-D, Ford, because they're usually very familiar with their car and how to take these things apart. And when I talked to Hink about this, because of the complexity of the panel underneath, we decided to go ahead and leave these on. And a lot of times when you're working on antique chrome emblems like this, it's real easy to break them trying to remove them. And we just didn't want to go that far. So that's why I had Todd and Jeff up here doing the surgical buffing and buffing around them. You remember all the scratches and stuff that were around? How do they look now?
They look good.
They look like a jewel, doesn't it? Okay, we got that all done? Just about. When we get it all done, let's get all the microfiber towels into the dirty towel bin there. And then we're going to be ready to put on the Gtechniq EXO. You bet. Okay. Okay. Now, the Gtechniq EXO, this hybrid coating, has very specific instructions for applying the product. It starts with a completely stripped finish. Can everybody come back over here? There's no reason to disappear over there in the crowd. This is the fun part. We did the work step, okay? The work step was all that machine polishing. That wasn't that much work, what was it? Okay, this is kind of the fun part, is putting this coating on. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this. This is going to be a real learning experience because this is kind of a very unique product. But part of the application directions are, first, you've got to chemically strip the paint. Now, can I get everybody to tell me how does the paint look even though we just wiped it down with the solvent? It looks good, doesn't it? Okay, so the Wurth product is safe. Okay, it's meant for automotive paints, but this looks completely crystal clear, high gloss, just like we want it. Okay, so the next thing they want is they want a very... Sure, okay. I'll do my friend's little thing. That looks good. Okay, this is my friend Mike Pennington. Always does that in his little ads. Okay, this is a laser thermometer gun, and the specific instructions for this is the temperature, the surface temperature has to be between 20 and 40 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn this on and measure it. And can I get someone to tell me what we got? What do you see there, Todd?
78.8.
78. Okay, let's flip over to the centigrade. And we've got what?
26 degrees.
Okay, so we're well within the range. You want to go ahead and grab that? So we're well within the range that the manufacturer recommends for applying the Gtechniq EXO. So the next thing we're going to do is apply this. And this is one of those products that I would say you really want to follow the manufacturer's directions. And the manufacturer recommends applying this with a very soft microfiber towel, something with a low pile or flat weave. And they actually go and get into the real nitty-gritty, and they recommend about a 30% polyamide. We're using a towel here today that's 25% polyamide, but if someone could go grab me those white towels, same way over there on the grab those, bring those over. Trista, come over here. I want you to tell everybody what you think. Tell me, do these feel rough or do these feel soft?
Can I take my gloves off?
You take one glove off, or just tap your face with it. Just.
Oh, those are soft.
Is really soft. Very, very, look how supple these are. Very, very soft, okay? So this is what we're going to use to apply this. And what the manufacturer recommends is you apply this, spread it out like you would a spray detailer, and then immediately wipe it off. And this stuff's going to start setting up. If you let it sit there too long, that coating is going to get as hard as glass, and it's going to you're going to have smudges that you can't get off. So follow the manufacturer's directions. Apply it, spread it around, wipe it off. Now what we're going to do here is I'm going to have a team of us working together, and what I'd like to do is I need some people to go ahead and volunteer to be the people to wipe off. I have some microfiber gloves here. Put the gloves on, and back here I've reserved some very soft, very plush microfiber towels. Now I want you to notice the way I have these folded up is the flat weave is on the outside so that it protects the inside weave from gathering any kind of particulates while they're in storage. So open them up, fold them 4 ways so the fluffy or the large nap side is out. Put your hand right behind it and follow somebody applying this, and then wipe it off. And as you're wiping it off, you need to get down at different angles and use the light to make sure we got all the trace residues off. And we could trade off. So if you want to try your hand at applying it, trade off with someone that's applying it, and someone that's applying it, trade off and go ahead and do the wipe off. Now here's another thing I want to show you. This comes in an aerosol can. Can I go ahead and see that? Okay. The reason this is an aerosol can isn't to make it easy to spray it on the car. That would waste a ton of product. You get overspray everywhere. The reason this is an aerosol can is because the aerosol the gas in here is inert. When you expose this hybrid coating to the oxygen and air, it's going to try to solidify and harden up and become what is supposed to be a coating. So in order to transfer it out of the container and onto the cloth, it needs to be suspended in a carrying agent that it won't react with. Okay? So that's why it's in an aerosol. So don't spray this on. Understand it's in there for a reason, is to protect it from the air. And then just like we use the Wurth product, we do not want to spray this over the car. Hold your towel to the side. Spray some product onto the towel, then come down here and start spreading this product out. And let me get someone behind me who's gloved up. I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm gonna spread this out. Come down this body line right here, and go ahead and start carefully wiping that off.
You know, the thing worth mentioning, Mike, is that EXO can be applied to all surfaces.
That's right.
Glass, I think they said your wheels, chrome, plastic trim, they even said masonry.
And matte surfaces, not even glossy surfaces,
Absolutely.
matte surfaces too. So if you've got a car that has the new matte finish on it, you could apply it to that. So today we're just going to focus one step at a time. We're just going to put it on the paint today, but you know you can apply this, like Todd said, to different types of surfaces if you've properly prepared them. Okay, so I'm going to set these. How's that look?
Looks good.
Oh, you know what the most important thing here is how does Hank think it looks?
I think it looks great.
Okay, let's go ahead. If you're someone that wants to apply it, grab one of these microfiber towels. Let's go ahead and start applying it. Tell you what, I'll trade you. I'll be a wiper.
Okay. The wiping is absolutely the most important step. If you do not remove all the streaks, this coating is going to dry hard and those streaks are going to remain.
They'll be there when you're done.
So when you're
Yep.
wiping it, wipe it, look at it again,
Yep.
and then wipe it again.
Get at different angles, and that's where it helps to have a fresh set of eyes. If you're at home alone and you go to put this on, maybe have the wife, the girlfriend, the son, the daughter come out and help you inspect the finish as you're wiping off, and make sure you get all these trace residues off.
Give me a squirt.
Yeah, here, I'll take care of the squirting.
Okay.
Okay. All right. There you go. Who else is ready to wipe?
Every one of those streaks comes off.
Trista?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Don't
Are you
spray me
applying
though.
pressure when you're wiping it off? It's just gliding?
Oh, gentle, real light. You know, this is a flawless finish. You got to be so careful at this point. You don't want to be putting any scratches back in. Okay? This is an art form. This is show car. We're creating a show car finish here, Stuart. That's a good question, though. Light pressure. And that's why I'm having you guys fold these 4 ways. It spreads the pressure out from your hand. Plus, you're wearing the microfiber gloves. So everything we do right now is just at the highest quality level that we can do.
Thanks, Mike. All right, I'm gonna start at front this time.
You know what, Brian, why don't you grab one of these white towels and come over here and be one of my wipers? We got plenty of guys that aren't doing that. Okay. No, that's okay. So here's Brian. Brian's going to do a little bit here for me. There you go.
Mike and I were playing with this yesterday in the shop, and almost immediately after curing it, we were seeing what kind of chemicals we use to strip it. And as we sprayed chemical on it, the area that we did with the EXO, the water would actually be right up and fall right off. And it was really incredible. It was a very distinct line between the side we had treated and the side we hadn't.
Make sure you said mention 2 coats.
Sure. If it's that permanent, then I don't have to go out, 3-4 times a year and do this.
On the website is described as a semi-permanent coating. And the key thing here is at this point here, you don't wash this with an alkaline wash. You want to use either the manufacturer's recommended wash, the G-Wash, and that's a non-alkaline wash, and maintain it, or another premium quality car wash. And of course, one thing I always teach people to do, whenever you're washing a show car finish like this, don't ever scrub the paint. If first of all, you would never wash a car like this. This is a Class A car. You don't introduce water into places that could cause rust. This car is garage kept, and I'm sure that Hink just takes and wipes it to get it clean because it probably never gets that dirty. But for your own car, your daily driver, use the correct wash to maintain it. Another thing I want to point out is the manufacturer recommends 2 applications of this, okay? And you want to wait about 20 minutes before you put the second application on. Ready for some more there?
I am. Thanks, Mike. Has anybody done the roof on this side?
Yeah, I did that side.
Near side or far side?
Far side.
You guys can't see, but over here, Jeff's down here on his knees with the swirl finder light, using the light to actually light up the panels to make sure there are no streaks. Hink, just to be fair, you've probably been on this earth longer than the rest of us, and you've probably used a lot of different car waxes in your life, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Simonized, Blue Coral, Meguiar's, Mother's. Have you ever seen anything like this to be used in place of what you would think of as a traditional wax?
No, I haven't.
I've been in this industry for almost going over 30 years now as far as the detailing industry. I started out calling on body shops, dealerships, and detail shops, and my job was to teach guys how to wet sand, cut, and buff. That was besides detailing cars. In the last 2 or 3 years, I've seen more new high-tech products brought out to not only create a show car finish, but to maintain a show car finish than ever in my entire life. So this is just amazing. And hey, a little shout out to our buddy Rob Earl over there in England, and he's our contact rep for this product that we now carry here at Autogeek.net. Todd is back for some more.
Yeah, we're not wasting any time.
Okay, so now what we want to do is, for a time's sake, we're probably going to go ahead and let Yancey come in here and get the beauty shots, and then when he gets done rolling film, we'll come back in and put the second coat on for Hink here. But what I want to do is after every single square inch has been coated, has that taken place yet? Did we get the louvers? Okay, Todd's down here doing the very front. And we've wiped it all off. Okay, then we want to let Yancey come in and get what we call the beauty shots. Hey, Stuart, could you come over here and wipe this side of the glass? I see some streaks there, and we want this to look totally flawless. And that's just from when we clayed it and it left some residue. That has nothing to do with this. Okay, just real quick, everybody take a look. What do you think? Okay, look good in a guy here, right? But how's it look now? Have we taken it to a higher level? Yeah, this thing is ready for a car show. This thing is ready for a magazine shoot. This thing's ready for a video. Hey, what are we doing? Video. Jeff, you're such a perfectionist. I love you. Okay, let's go ahead. And Yancey, are you ready to come in and get the beauty shots?
Ready to start with my band?
I'm just saying, what's bad when you hear pizza for the cost, I mean, like it took no time at all. It takes about 70 hours.
Look at that reflection of Ivan off the floor through the door panel there. That's a mere reflection. You know what that is? That's actually a sign of how well you guys did the polishing step. Now, the Gtechniq EXO, that's the LSP, but where the magic comes is removing the defects in the first place. And that comes from quality pads, quality products, good technique, being thorough. What I always like to tell people is polishing paint is an art form. Of course it's a craft, you know, that's a profession that you can become very good at, but it's also an art form. When you take the right pads, the right products, the right tools, and then you bring to it the human elements of care and passion. Okay, that's caring about what you do. That's where the magic happens. Steve, you know, I brought some tire swipes for that. Yeah, here you go. Steve's over here getting the tires all dressed up. Well, I was going to have him do that when we got the beauty shots, but since he's all gangbusters to go, let's not stop a good man from working hard. The other thing we're going to do is before this car leaves here, we're going to go ahead and put the C4. This is the trim sealant. We got a plastic air dam down here. So we're going to clean that and go ahead and protect that with the Gtechniq product called C4. We're also going to take and use the C5. This is a wheel armor. Again, this is a hybrid coating. We're going to put this on the rims to protect them, make the brake dust so it won't easily stick to the surface, make washing, maintain them a lot faster, a lot easier. And we're going to send Hink home with some of the C1.5. This is the silo seal. And this product's going to go ahead and it's going to layer onto and add more protection, gloss, and slickness, and water repellency. And that's going to help them to keep this finish just the way it looks right here, right now before your eyes. And for the tire dressing, what we went ahead and used for that was a Pinnacle product called Black Onyx. And hey, Steve, where'd you go?
Over here.
He's over here. So get a shot of Steve down there. Thanks, Steve. A lot of times at these classes I have here, there's always one guy that I call my wheel and tire guy, and tonight that's Steve, so thanks a lot, Steve, for getting that. And addressing the tires, that's kind of like the finishing touches, so not only does the paint, the glass, the chrome look good, but the wheels and tires look great too. Well, I think that's it for this edition of Autogeek Show Car Garage. I'd like to thank everybody that tuned in and watched tonight. And I'd like to thank Rob Earl for participating on the forum. I'd like to give a big hand. Hey, about a hand of applause over here for Nick. Nick's over here in the corner moderating the forum. He got out of all the hard work. He just had us over there and just play on the forum a little bit, but that's okay. He's real good at that. And I'd like to personally thank everybody that came down and worked hard. I hope you guys had a good time. How about a round of applause for yourselves? And Hank, can I have you come over here?
Means you can get up and share in the glory.
Take a look.
I'd kind of like to thank the guys that put all the work in.
That's right. Hank, you know, again, your car looked good to the average person. When I looked at it through my eyes, I saw the fine swirls, documented it, and what I just want to do is I just want to thank you for trusting Autogeek with your car, because the last thing we'd want to do is make a mistake and have to do any repaint on this.
It looks a lot better than it did. I thought it looked good before.
Yeah, so you're ready to roll to the next car show.
Well, okay.
Hey,
Not
thanks.
sure I want to take it out and get it dirty.
Thanks a lot for bringing the car down here and let us work
Thank
on
you,
it.
Mike.
Hey, and that's all for tonight here down here at Autogeek Show Car Garage. We'll see you in about 2 weeks when we do this again on another cool project car. So be sure to share this with your friends and be sure to tune in. We'll have another contest. Be your chance to watch and win. We'll see you again. Okay.